Riding the 2017 Yamaha FZ-10 feels right. It performs just like a real 1-liter superbike does, but with a comfortable seat, handlebars, and a relaxed riding position. Whether or not you'd be relaxed riding it is up to you. This new model is basically a current general YZF-R1 that's less R and more 1. Not of the 30-year trend of the tail wagging the dog, the FZ-10 isn't a superbike built for the street. It's a street bike built for the street. The rider is no longer compromised. Bring a friend, pack a picnic lunch, and ride however hard, soft, or long, as you'd like. Beneath the FZ-10's various plastic bits is basically the chassis from the talented YZF-R1, along with the R1's famous cross-plane crank, 998cc, inline 4-cylinder engine that produces gobs of power and waves of sound in exciting timbre. Not only is the FZ-10 able to go fast unfrantically, it also goes unfast just as calmly, with soft pulsing ABS when pushed to its limits. Technology is cool. The FZ-10 is big brother to FZ-07 and FZ-09, both of which will remain happily in the FZ production family. But unlike those others, the FZ-10 has a racing heritage. A significant racing heritage. The frame and swing arm are derived from the R1, but the FZ-10 has a steel subframe to address the normal life needs of extended two-up riding and the possibility of yet more weight from optional bags. The engine is derived from the latest version of Yamaha's beautiful-sounding cross-plane crankshaft engine, but it has a number of significant internal differences for improved streetability. Improved streetability means more torque at lower RPM and a bit less horsepower at higher RPM. Achieving this begins with a larger airbox. The FI throttle bodies are modified, but only to accept the business end of electronic cruise control. The R1's 2 injectors for each cylinder is now a single unit with 25% more flow. The second injector is omitted because its purpose is for high horsepower at high RPM for racing. As one might guess, the FI is mapped differently from that of the R1. The intake ports are reshaped, terminating at steel versus titanium valves. The cams have less lift and less duration, which helps flatten the dyno graph in a good way. The pistons are redesigned with flatter crowns and the compression is 12.01, while the R1 has a ratio of 13.01. The crankshaft has a revised moment of inertia, while the connecting rods still feature a fracture split design. It's fascinating that what befell Humpty Dumpty is now an intentional and preferred manufacturing process. Some things can be put back together again. Power is delivered through a sexy slipper clutch for RPM and discretion forgiveness during downshifts. The transmission is unaltered, yet the final drive is now 2 teeth taller, at 41/16 compared to the YZF-R1's 43/16. This of course lowers the RPM for any specific speed, which is friendlier for long days of riding. Adding to the flatter power curve is a redesigned stainless steel exhaust system terminating with a titanium muffler. The 4-into-2-into-1 exhaust chamber with exhaust is reshaped and the exit pipe through the muffler has a remarkably smaller diameter, at 42.6 mm compared to the R1's 54.0 mm. That's a big difference considering, for instance, that a circle of half the diameter has only a quarter of the area. Nonetheless, the sound is soothing. These many changes, from breathing in to exhaling out, and much in between, result in a claimed 18% more torque at a lower revs than R1 peak of 9,000 RPM. The R1-derived aluminum delta-box frame carries an aluminum swing arm that's also R1-derived, and Kybe suspension derived from that of the R1. The package results in a slightly shorter wheelbase. The fork and rear shock are fully adjustable, and rear preload is managed with a spring nut and spanner. Please amply lubricate the shock body threads before adjusting. The shock also features high and low speed damping adjustability. For those new to messing up suspension, if the bike is bouncy that's low speed, if your ass is in the air from hitting an expansion joint that's high speed. As you might guess, the settings differ from the R1 specs. so don't try those. Like the steel subframe, the fork triple clamps are not derived but have crossed the line to totally new. The FZ-10 weighs in at a claimed wet weight of 463 pounds, which is 24 pounds heavier than an R1, though the FZ-10 seat height is about an inch lower, matched to lowers footpegs. The 120/70th CR17 front and 190/55th CR17 rear Bridgestone Battlax Hypersport S12W tires are specifically designed for the FZ-10. Up front is an electronic steering damper that adjusts according to the motorcycle's speed, and each end has ABS, dual 320mm discs, and radial-mounted 4-piston calipers up front matched to a Brembo Master, rather than the Nissan of the R1, and a single 220mm rotor and single-piston caliper out back. The FZ-10's distinctive Robotronic headlights with heavy brows are frame-mounted for improved high-speed handling, and feature a small wind cowl that provides real wind deflection. On the backside of the wind cowl is an outlet for powering heated riding gear, charging a smartphone, and such.